Friends, we can all see that many white bloggers have millions of followers. Please support me too, because my followers are still few. Black bloggers also deserve to be famous. My friends, let's unite and lift each other up. Please press subscribe button and like. In the pristine suburbs of Oakwood Heights, North Carolina, where manicured lawns and white picket fences painted a picture of tranquility, darkness lurked beneath the surface. Officer Kyle Bennett, a man with a badge and a chip on his shoulder, patrolled the streets with a sense of entitlement that belied his position. He was a predator in a uniform, seeking out those he deemed unworthy of the peace he believed he was protecting. One fateful summer evening, Bennett set his sights on a family he believed was out of place, a large black man named Marcus Thorne, who lived in a lavish brick home with his wife, Dr. Anna Thorne, and their two children, Leo and Maya. Unbeknownst to Bennett, Marcus was not just any man. He was a decorated master sergeant in the U.S. Army's Delta Force, a ghost in the shadows of global security. As Marcus enjoyed a rare evening at home, assembling a new grill, he was blissfully unaware of the storm brewing just outside his door. His wife watched him from the kitchen, a smile on her face as her children played in the yard. The Thorne family had carved out a life of normalcy amidst the chaos of Marcus's military career, but that peace was about to be shattered. Leo, a lanky teenager with dreams of becoming a graphic novelist, was walking home from a friend's house when he encountered Officer Bennett. The officer's demeanor shifted as he approached Leo, his eyes narrowing with suspicion. "What are you doing in this neighborhood?" Bennett barked, his voice dripping with disdain. "I live here," Leo replied, gesturing toward his home. But Bennett was not convinced. He demanded identification, and when Leo explained he didn't have it, the officer's aggression escalated. Leo's heart raced as he recalled the talk every black father gives his son about how to survive encounters with the police. He complied, hands raised, but the humiliation stung deeply. From the backyard, Marcus heard the exchange. His instincts kicked in, honed from years of combat experience. He approached the scene, his presence commanding attention. "Is there a problem, officers?" he asked. His voice calm yet authoritative, to Bennett's eyes widened as he took in Marcus's imposing figure. The officer's prejudice twisted his perception, and he saw Marcus not as a father but as a threat. "This young man is acting suspiciously," Bennett insisted, but Marcus's unwavering gaze silenced him. "He's my son," Marcus replied, his voice steady. "You can release him now." Tension crackled in the air as Bennett hesitated, but ultimately, he shoved Leo away, a warning hanging in the air. As the officers retreated, Marcus felt a switch flip inside him. He had faced countless enemies in war, but this was a different kind of battle, one that threatened his family. Days turned into weeks and the harassment continued. Bennett's cruiser would lurk outside their home, and Anna received a traffic ticket for a non-existent infraction. The atmosphere grew heavy with fear and anxiety. Marcus, however, was not one to back down. He began gathering intelligence on Bennett. Using skills he had honed in the field, he discovered Bennett's history of racial bias and harassment complaints, and he recalibrated his home security, setting up cameras and audio recorders to document the harassment. He was building a case, brick by brick, against the officer who had targeted his family. Bennett, frustrated by his inability to find dirt on the Thornes, decided to fabricate evidence. He approached a low-level informant, Jimmy Petrov, and coerced him into providing false information about the Thornes being involved in drug trafficking. With this fabricated evidence, Bennett sought a no-knock warrant, determined to shatter the Thorne family's peaceful existence on a quiet night. As Marcus read to Maya, the SRT team descended upon their home, armed and ready for a fight. Marcus, sensing the impending danger, swiftly moved his family to safety. He dialed 911, identified himself as a resident and unarmed, creating a record of the impending breach. The officer stormed in, guns drawn, but Marcus remained calm, surrendering with his hands raised. As they searched the house, Bennett reveled in his perceived victory, but Marcus's resolve only grew stronger. He knew he had to protect his family at all costs. When Bennett threatened Marcus's family, the officer made a grave mistake. Marcus's voice cut through the chaos, commanding attention. "You need to listen to me very carefully," he said, revealing his military status and the implications of Bennett's actions. The atmosphere shifted as the officers realized they had crossed a line they could not uncross. With the evidence of Bennett's misconduct mounting, the power dynamic shifted. Sergeant Miller, realizing the gravity of the situation, ordered Bennett to uncuff Marcus. The Thorne family was reunited, but the threat was far from over. As the dust settled, Marcus and Anna decided to take action. They enlisted the help of a civil rights attorney, Julian Croft, and filed a lawsuit against Bennett and the Oakwood Heights Police Department. The case garnered national attention, shining a light on systemic racism and police misconduct. The fallout was swift and severe. Bennett was fired, facing federal charges for his actions. The Thorne family was awarded a historic settlement, but it was not just about the money. They used their resources to create the Thorne Foundation for Accountability and Policing, dedicated to supporting families affected by police misconduct. As the community rallied around the Thornes, Marcus found solace in his family's resilience. They had faced a storm and emerged stronger, turning their pain into purpose. Leo's graphic novel, The Shattered Door, became a bestseller, capturing the emotional toll of their experience and inspiring others to speak out against injustice. But just as they began to heal, a new threat emerged. Officer Bennett, desperate and cornered, sought revenge. He reached out to old contacts, trying to gather information on Marcus, hoping to discredit him and regain his lost power. Unbeknownst to Bennett, Marcus was always one step ahead, monitoring the situation closely. One evening, as Marcus prepared for a community meeting to discuss police reform, he received an anonymous tip about Bennett's plans. The officer was plotting to frame Marcus for a crime he didn't commit, hoping to turn public opinion against him. The stakes were higher than ever, and Marcus knew he had to act quickly. He gathered his family and shared the news, their faces a mix of fear and determination. "We can't let him win," Marcus said, his voice steady. "We need to expose him before he can do any more damage." As they strategized, the tension in the room was palpable. They knew they were up against a man who had nothing left to lose, but they also understood the power of their unity. Together, they would fight back, not just for their family, but for the countless others who had suffered at the hands of corrupt officers. With the clock ticking, Marcus and Anna reached out to Julian Croft, who immediately sprang into action. They devised a plan to gather evidence against Bennett, using his own tactics against him. They would document every move he made, turning the tables on the officer who had tried to destroy their lives as the night wore on. The Thorne family prepared for the battle ahead, knowing that the fight for justice was far from over. They were ready to face whatever came next, united in their resolve to reclaim their lives and ensure that no one else would have to endure what they had faced. And just as they were about to put their plan into action, a knock echoed through the house, sending a chill down their spines. Marcus exchanged a glance with Anna, both of them knowing that this moment could change everything. Do you want to know the fate of the heroes? Please post part 2. Subscribe to the channel and continue watching. Your opinion and support are important to me. Leave it in the comments. Thank you.